Craig. We did watch it. It was very interesting. Corey, we're gonna break down which teams surprised you in a good way. Which teams had a great draft, and then we're gonna talk about which teams did not have a great draft or a very surprising draft, or picks that you want to go like why. So we're gonna go through which teams you think had a phenomenal draft that surprised you.
I'll say Philly. I think they had a really good draft. It's surprising that they were able to get the guys they were, mostly Nolan Smith at the back end of round one.
Crazy.
Yeah. And then to cap all of it off and trading for DeAndre Swift for nothing was a really good deal for them. Pittsburgh, I thought, had a really good draft. They got the last starting caliber tackle in the first round.
Traded up.
Yeah. Porter is probably going to be able to start for them at corner day one. And then Darnell Washington in the third, I thought was a really good pickup. I guess he had medicals that caused him to fall, but getting a guy with that kind of talent in the third round, like it sucks for fantasy because Freiermuth was just a plug and play, didn't have to worry about the position.
Yeah.
But for a team with Najee Harris and that likes to run the football, being able to get a second tight end on the field could be really interesting for that offense. I did think Tennessee had a decent draft. They desperately needed a tackle, so Skoronski is going to immediately start for them. Tajay Spears is probably the best running back that has been in Tennessee to pair with Derrick Henry in his career. It's unfortunate they've waited till the end of his career or close to the end to finally get him a quality number two guy. But and then the gamble on Will Levis in the second. I know I talked about it going into the draft, and it's sure enough, Houston got their quarterback, Indianapolis got their quarterback, Jacksonville has theirs. The Titans couldn't be left with Ryan Tannehill. So they were in a position where you have to roll the dice and hope that Will Levis can become a starting quarterback, because Tennessee would have been, without taking a quarterback, Tennessee would be by far in fourth place in that division, I think. And I think Houston had themselves a pretty good draft. It was a really bold move getting Stroud and Anderson 2 and 3. I'm a little torn on that because on one hand, them trading up for Will Anderson ensured Anthony Richardson fell to 4. But on the other hand, the Colts get to see Will Anderson twice a year for 10 years.
Yeah.
I do think Tank Dell, the receiver, was a bit of a reach in round 3. But the franchise and that GM needed a splash on draft day. I think they got it. And they added some interior offensive line help that was desperately needed for that roster.
Yeah. All right, Craig, which teams surprised you in a great way during the draft?
The Eagles, definitely. We talked about that during the show, how Jalen Carter fell to them. They did have to trade up one spot, but they were able to get one of the best players in the draft. Nolan Smith falling to them as also late in the first round. Another great pick. Them, like Corey said, them getting DeAndre Swift. They didn't have a running back. I kind of was thinking they might take Robinson, the running back. He went a little higher than I thought, but after he was gone, I was still trying to figure out what they were going to do at running back. They were going to take somebody, but they ended up getting Swift. I thought that was a great move. To me, this solidifies them as the best team in the NFC if they weren't already. I mean, I think Vegas still has the 49ers for some reason, but I like what they did during their draft. The Steelers getting what's his kid name? Broderick Jones. They the Patriots kind of fleeced.
We would talk about that on draft night. Go ahead and mention it.
They kind of finessed the Jets by trading with the Steelers, who took the last best offensive tackle that was at least first round talent wise.
Yeah,
that was left. And unfortunately for the Jets, the Patriots are picking them before them, like one spot, and they ended up trading with the Steelers. So Steelers got a great pick there, and then they got Joey Porter. I might as well keep it there. Joey Porter played with them, so why not get his son, right? So I thought that was a good pick as well. Excuse me. They had some. I like Benton from Wisconsin, the DT, also in the second round. So they had obviously they went. They had some issues on defense a little bit. I kind of was hoping that they would get somebody else to help out with Kenny Pickett a little bit, but the offensive tackle, that's a big plus right there anyway. So I like that pick. I like what the Bills did a little bit, especially with the tight end. I know they already have a tight end, but this is Kincaid is probably the best tight end in the draft. Can't never have too many weapons, I guess. So that's another weapon for forgot his name. Josh Allen to have. So I kind of wish they got a better running back. They still had that's been an issue for them for what seems like forever. Now haven't really addressed it, I guess, kind of sort of, but as long as it's a passing league, so why not just keep passing the ball? And you still have other great wide receivers out there as well. Excuse me. I like what the Giants did. The Giants got a cornerback that they needed. To me, they got another person on the offensive line. I was really mad that they got Hyatt because I really wanted him for the Panthers because he had such a great season last year, 15 touchdowns, I believe. So I thought he had a great season, and I think he's gonna fit well with his team. The Giants never have any good wide receivers anyway, or if they do, they just come there and they just not good anymore. So I think that's gonna help him. They got a late running back that can maybe help out Saquon a little bit. I'm not sure how much of a role he's going to play, but Saquon usually gets hurt every now and then. But the kid out of Oklahoma, so I think he could be a solid late pick that could help the team out. Tennessee, I like the offensive tackle that they got early. Might have reached for him because I think he could play tackle or guard. I think they said his hands are short or something like that. So, but I thought it was a solid pick.
Yeah, he got short arms.
Yeah, I thought they were going to go Levis there, but either way, it still worked out because they got Levis in the second round.
They got him where they were supposed to, Craig.
Okay, all right. Anyway, I think Levis is going to be a really solid piece for this team. I wish they got a wide receiver earlier.
Okay.
Because I mean that's the only part that I'm kind of like about because they just don't have any wide receivers on the team. So
yeah,
if you're gonna throw, whether you have Will Levis out there, or you have Ryan Tannehill out there, you don't have anybody to throw the ball to. It's not going to be very productive on the field. The running back that they got from out of Tulane, what's his name, Spears or something like that. I think he could be.
Yeah, it's Spears.
Yeah, I think he could be a solid spell back for Derrick Henry. You can't run Derrick Henry 300 times anymore. So I think
seen him doing hills today. I was like, yeah, I like that. He was running hills today. He posted.
Oh, I thought you said you seen him in hills.
No, man. He was running hills outside. He was training for the off season.
I didn't hear what you said, man. But yeah, I like what Tennessee did. They didn't have to reach for Will Levis. They didn't have to trade up for Will Levis. They just let him fall to him, and they got a good pick there. So that's what I saw, and that's what I like so far.
All right, so okay, guys. So mine are probably going to surprise you a bit, but I do agree with Philly. Right, Philly did awesome. I agree with Pittsburgh. I agree with Tennessee. Getting Levis, where listen, I like Tom McShay. I just don't look at him in his mock draft. He put Will Levis at number 2. Everybody else, I I know Will Levis, you know, hopefully he carries that as a chip and he might be a good quarterback. Um, my thing is, I just don't think that he was going to go that high. Tennessee's a perfect situation because he can learn from Tannehill. Tannehill's a professional. Tennessee is perfect. I don't see him like I don't see him as an immediate starter. We'll get to Anthony Richardson later, but I just don't see Will Levis. The reason I would pick Anthony Richardson over Will Levis is because of the potential. You know what I'm saying? It's like the NBA. Like he's not. Steph isn't going to be good now, but 3 years, bam, 2 years, we got a game changing quarterback. Whereas Will Levis, you don't know. I think he fell in a perfect situation, the perfect coach. Vrabel is the perfect coach for him. You know, I heard he already talked to him and was like, I don't nobody cares what you were picked at. You know what I'm saying? Can you help us win? They don't, NFL, they don't care, man. They're like, what can you help me do? But let's get to mine. I know Craig might disagree with this. I think Seattle had a good draft. I think they had a really good draft. I think they got the best corner, and that's who the Lions wanted. They traded down. Once they got Devin Witherspoon, he's considered the best corner in the draft. A lot of teams are really high on Witherspoon. They got Witherspoon, and they got Smith and Jigba at the 20th pick, the best receiver in the draft. Hey, they can put him right in the slot. Listen, and they got a running back. This is why it's a good draft because it takes pressure off Geno. You got to surround Geno with weapons, man. He can't do it by himself. You got to load up around him, and I like that. Seattle, they had a good draft last year. I think they had a good draft this year, and I listen. I don't know if they're going to be good or not, but I like the Raiders. I think they did decent. They this is what they did to me. Usually they pick crazy picks. The last couple years, the Raiders have been like, what are they doing? But this year they got Tyree Wilson at the 7th pick, which they say he could have gone to the Texans. They say his ceiling is very high. Then they got Michael Mayer, who's considered one of the best tight ends in the 2nd round. I kind of like that. I just like the reason they surprised me is because I thought they were going to Raider it. You know what I'm saying? But I thought they were going to pick picks that were 2nd or 3rd round picks in the 1st round, like they did the past couple years, where it was Gruden making these picks. This year, I kind of like it. I like it. You know, it's good because you got to think if they wanted a cornerback, if they wanted a corner and the best corner was off the board, let's at least get the best defensive lineman off the edge. You might as well, you know. So those are the two. Those are kind of two that stood out that was surprising. And of course, the Texans stood out. Craig, I'm going to ask you this. I got a feeling you're going to say one. But what teams were head scratching picks? Do you think?
The Lions, to me, especially early on, I like the Hendon Hooker pick. Yeah. They got a good value for him. But the first 2 picks were weird because I thought they were reaches. Yeah. I think the Lions should have went corner. Gonzalez was still there. And I thought he was going to get taken because he was, to me, after Witherspoon went, I thought he was the 2nd best corner, or at least 2nd or 3rd. And he didn't go, and it confused me. And I mean,
we weren't talking about that.
It kind of made sense after the Swift trade. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I think they could have got Gibbs in the 2nd round, possibly, or they could have traded up late in the 1st. And
you think they could have got Gibbs at the 34th pick?
I mean,
because that's what they traded for.
He might have went to the Chargers, possibly, if he was still there, maybe, because I know they had their situation going on.
You think he should have got him with the 18th pick?
I don't think he could have been. I think they could have waited. Honestly, I think they could have waited on Gibbs. I think they could have definitely waited on Campbell. I think he was a 2nd rounder. maybe late first rounder. I just think those two picks were understand it. They needed them. I think they needed cornerback. They just let their cornerback go. They traded their cornerback, and now their defense was one of the worst in terms of passing defense. And they still didn't address the cornerback situation. Kind of strange. I didn't understand it. I didn't get it, and I still don't get it. The Broncos, I don't know what the Broncos did. The Broncos did not upgrade the offensive line. I don't know why that wasn't a need for them or didn't seem like a need for them, but they didn't adjust the offensive line at all. I mean, you got Russell Wilson back there, but I mean, he was playing like trash last year. The offensive line wasn't that good last year, and
they did upgrade some in the free agency.
I understand that, but I mean, like, I think they need some younger talent too. I'm just talking about
I get you. Yeah, you think they should have just added depth? I got you.
Yeah, right.
I got you.
So, and they didn't do that.
I understand that.
The Jets had a great draft last year. Breece Hall and Sauce Gardner and Wilson. This year, I mean, I know they got finessed a little bit in the first round, but the biggest issue for that team last year was the offensive line. I mean, besides quarterback, was the offensive line.
Yeah,
and it took them. I mean, to the second round, obviously they didn't have a choice really because I mean there were no other first round tackles or any guards or centers worth taking in the first round. But that's what happens when you traded Aaron Rodgers or traded for Aaron Rodgers, and then you drop back 2 spots, you flip spots Packers, and ended up losing out on a potential game-changing tackle. So, you know, it is what it is. It comes with the territory, but granted, they got Aaron Rodgers, but I don't know, man. Aaron Rodgers was having a tough time last year behind that line and getting pressured, and he's going to have the same type of issues, I think, this year because unless they go out and they do something, who's ever out there, but it's going to be tough. And I think the Cowboys, I don't know what the Cowboys be doing sometimes, but I did not like their draft. I know the defense has been horrible sometimes, especially trying to in terms of the pass defense, but I just didn't understand. I mean, some of the picks, I think they needed to do something with the offensive line. I also thought they needed to get another running back in there just because Zeke's not there. I don't know if Tony Pollard is an every down back. They got a running back, I think, in the 6th round.
Which is a good story, by the way. It's nice. It's one of the coach's son. That's nice for him to do that.
Video. I'm not for it. Like, it's just more. More stuff to talk about with the Cowboys. Like, the Cowboys on TV. Why not? Because it sells. It's what sells out there. And I'm not for the Cowboys being on TV. They're on TV enough. Like, I didn't like the story. I didn't care for it. I didn't. So I just didn't think they had a phenomenal draft like they've had in years past. Yeah. But you know, when you're picking that far down, you can only do so much. But I mean, it's the Cowboys. The Cowboys expect to make a splash every year or whatever. You want to come play for the Star, and I guess the biggest move for them was the Deuce Vaughn pick. So
I get it. Now I'm gonna let Corey go, but I do gotta mention this, Craig. They did say it was only like 15 blue chip prospects, and then they said after that it was like a crapshoot. So
the Chargers too. I forgot to say the Chargers didn't address the running back situation. I don't know what they're doing. If they're not gonna, what are they doing with Eckler? And they didn't get a backup running back.
Not gonna pay him.
Or they didn't get a backup running back. Instead, they got 2 more wide receivers, especially the first round. I don't know, man.
Yeah, I think they're not gonna pay. Damn, they didn't get no running backs at all.
And they didn't get an offensive lineman.
Damn. Yeah, that's a little weird. That's a little weird. Corey, what team surprised you? Head scratching like what?
Yeah, I think Detroit's the easy one. It feels like they're getting crushed by everybody for the first round selections. I agree with
drafts though.
I mean,
Brian
I
Branch
do think
in the 4th.
3 and on, they had a solid draft, but the front end of this draft, look, the NFL is evolving where you need talent at the premium positions.
Yeah,
rushing the passer, protecting the edge, quarterback, and arguably receiver now in today's NFL.
Yeah,
running back is not a premium position
No.
Taking the second running back off the board at 12 is crazy. Look, I do think Gibbs goes in round 1. There's talk that the Bucks were really high on him. I could see the Chargers have taken him. If he is there in the 20s, I think he goes there. 12 is too early. Inside linebacker, I would contend that in today's NFL, you do need a good inside linebacker. You got to have a guy that can cover some because there's so much passing.
Tight ends,
but
running backs.
Yeah, but But if you're going to take a running back, why not stay at 6 and take the best running back in the class instead of trading down to get the second best?
That is a very good point. They could have had Bijan Robinson.
Yep, because he went 9. So
that's interesting.
I saw their GM talking, and he did have a good point in that fans' expectations for this draft are warped because of mock drafts.
That is true.
The people creating these mock drafts don't think the same as the NFL evaluators.
No, it's for entertainment.
But on the other hand, he felt like he was like, fans have a distorted perception because of mock drafts, but we know better. I know better. And it's like, well, that's the kind of arrogance that gets people fired.
Yeah.
So
if it doesn't pan out.
Yeah. So hey, if they're right, a couple years ago, I crushed Cincinnati for not taking a lineman and taking Jamar Chase.
I think we all did.
They were right as hell about that. So, who knows? But they better be right because this is a team that's ascending. They had a really good draft last year. They're in a position to be able to make a run in the NFC next year for a playoff spot.
Yep.
And this draft felt kind of flat. So, especially early on. So it felt like they just didn't take advantage of the opportunities they had. San Francisco jumped out to me. You had no first and second round pick, and then you take a kicker in the third. You can find kickers everywhere. Most teams' kickers are undrafted. So, taking a kicker with one of your first picks of the draft felt odd. James, for me, the Charbonnet pick by Seattle stood out as a bit of a head scratcher. Taking a running back in the second round when you have Kenneth Walker as your starter, who proved himself to be a very good starting running back.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that defense has holes. They needed all the help. That defense needs all the help it can get, and you draft a backup running back with a second round pick.
Yeah,
that felt like a luxury pick.
They probably got him. They could have got him in the fourth, probably.
I don't know if he would have fallen that far, but just taking a running back in the second round is a luxury pick and a luxury that I don't think Seattle could afford with the holes they have on defense. And then I think Baltimore could have potentially used trading back some to add some more talent. Now with the Lamar deal, they only had 5 picks. I thought they had a couple of good ones. Getting Voorhees as to be able to redshirt, and you could potentially have your starting guard next year. But I think the Ravens should have tried to maneuver the board a bit better and add some more depth to that roster.
Yeah. All right. Some of my head scratchers. Tampa Bay. I guess they're going with the starters of Baker Mayfield and Kyle Trask. Who, if they would have gotten Will Levis, I would not have been mad because I think he's a better quarterback than both of them. Let's just say that right now. That's me. I just think he is. And then they got they did get a left tackle. They got a defensive lineman, but it's like Corey just said it. There's no premier positions, right? Your running backs, you need. I guess you could go with Pascal, but I don't know. The offensive line was terrible. You got one offensive line pick in the first 3 picks. That's it. When you draft one offensive lineman, your offensive line was not good last year. There's no running back position. You draft a receiver in the 6th round. It just seems like, you know what? It seems a little tankish to me. Okay, this seems a little bit tankish. Like you're going into the season with Baker Mayfield. You got 2 good receivers, but the offensive line sucks. It just doesn't. It's not a good look for me. And I get the Detroit. I get the Jets. The Patriots screwed the Jets again because the pick that they traded in Pittsburgh with, they got a tackle. Now Patriots head scratchers. They had a great first round pick, but they drafted a kicker in the 4th round and a punter in the 6th. What are we doing here? You know who you're in the division with? We're going to get to that later, but you got Aaron Rodgers, Josh Allen, and Tua. I get the corner, but I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see why you get the guy a kicker in the 4th. You probably could have signed him as an undrafted free agent. Same with the punter. But once again, it just looks like the Patriots are going to be an average 8-win team. And I think that's where Belichick's going to retire. But I think that was pretty much it. The Chargers were definitely interesting to me. Not getting a receiver, I guess I
get that.
I get that because you got to help.
Both of their
Herbert.
receivers have had struggle staying on the field. Keenan Allen's not young.
Yeah,
I can see wanting to support your young quarterback.
Yeah, I can see that, but not getting a running back, no line help. I get that. But yeah, I mean all the other ones pretty good, but that New England is just that's just so crazy to me. It's like they're stuck in the 80s, and he's not adapting to how the NFL is right now. You know, he's not. And yeah, Dallas had a weird one as well. And yeah, I think that's it. A lot of like Broncos had no picks. And then I'm not surprised about Green Bay. They did Green Bay things. That's what Green Bay does. I'm not surprised. I'm not even surprised anymore. I'm not surprised anymore.
Take a wide receiver again. It's weird, man. I don't get it. Like it's like whoever the GM is, I don't know his name. It's like he was beat up or he was a cornerback and just got destroyed by wide receivers or something.
He's not picking them.
He's not picking them.
I was shocked.
It would have been
hilarious.
I thought it would have been hilarious if Green Bay finally takes a first-round wide receiver right when they get rid of Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, because but me and Craig were talking about it. I was like, I get it. I'm not surprised. It didn't surprise me.
And then the Jets make Aaron Rodgers feel right at home by not taking a wide receiver in the first round either.